Right. Hi, friends, and welcome to this week's live gathering. I'm Tim, an IFS or internal family systems trained practitioner. And this model has been life changing for me personally and for the clients that I have the opportunity of walking alongside. So glad you're here. Whether you're joining for the first time or you've been around week after week, your presence really does matter. This is a space where we can pause together, breathe, turn inward with curiosity and compassion, catching my breath. My dog was going crazy about something in the backyard just before I jumped on. Um, but yeah, we're just trying to turn inward with curiosity and compassion. Good place for me to pause and remember. Good morning, Lynn. And yeah, chime in the chat and let me know where you're joining from if you'd like to. I'm in the Madison, Wisconsin area here in the US, in the Midwest. But each week we explore different aspects of IFS, not just as abstract ideas, but as living, breathing invitations to meet ourselves more fully. You might notice parts eager to learn, others a bit skeptical, maybe even some that feel weary. Just know all of them are welcome here. In fact, that's what is at the heart of what we do, creating room for every part of us to be seen, honored, and gently understood. So, as we begin, and we'll do about a 10-minute meditation in just a bit, but for now, just settle in to where you are. Good for me to take a couple breaths and let your shoulders drop if it feels right. Simply notice who's here right now. Welcome, Matthias from Germany. So glad that you're here and glad to have you a part of the Faithfully Growing community too. So yeah, thanks for showing up. Grateful for the community that we're developing. If you're curious about that, you can find out more on my website. You can get there by going to exploreifs.com. Just notice which parts are present, and just become aware. That can be enough often. But I'm so grateful to share this time with you. And let's step into this live together with a little openness, kindness, and the courage to listen deeply. And at the end, I'll take your questions so we can explore together in real time. So you can put those in the chat if you have them, and I'd be glad to engage there. Love learning with you. Also, if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and have a limit here to chime in with questions. You have to be subscribed for 5 minutes. And so just be aware of that. But subscribe and then like this particular video. It helps YouTube know that we're here and help the algorithms pick that up a little bit. And you can also reach out to me directly if you have questions. Send me an email to tim@faithfullygrowing.com. And today, going to talk just a bit before I lead us in a meditation about what it means to be self led. We hear that a lot, but for me, it's good to explore a little more of what it means to live more as a self led person, leading from the qualities of self, those 8 C's, rather than reactive parts. And you may ask, what are the 8 C's? And let me list those for you. And just kind of, I'll listen them slowly and see if you notice them or any of them here. You don't have to have them all, but calm, a sense of inner peace and steadiness, curiosity, genuine interest in what's happening inside and around you. Clarity, the ability to see situations and parts without as much confusion. Compassion, an open hearted care for self and for others. Confidence, trust in your own inner wisdom. Courage, willingness to face what feels difficult. Creativity, openness to new possibilities and perspectives. Connectedness, a felt sense of relationship and belonging to self, others, or something larger. And then there are also 5 Ps that, as practitioners, you hear more about the 8 Cs, but practitioners are, we learn about these to bring into session when we're working with others, and it's helpful for daily life. But patience, allowing things to unfold in their own time without forcing change. Perspective, being able to see the bigger picture and understand different parts, viewpoints. Persistence, staying with the process even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. And 2 more: playfulness, bringing lightness, creativity, and curiosity to the work. I love that one. And then finally, presence, being fully here, grounded, and attentive to what's happening inside and around you. Before I guide us in our meditation, just a couple key points. The difference between self and parts. In IFS, self is not a part of you, it's your true essence, the inner leader who can listen, guide, and hold all your parts with compassion. And those parts, and particularly self like parts, on the other hand, may imitate self energy, and they're no bad parts. I love my like parts, but sometimes they carry an agenda. They want to help, but there's, and then recognizing self energy, signs of being more self led include those C's: curiosity, calm, clarity, compassion, confidence, creativity, courage, and connectedness. But you don't need all 8 at once. Often, just a drop of self is enough to shift your internal system. And some common misconceptions: being self led doesn't mean being calm or zen all the time. It's about being aware of your inner experience and relating to your parts with compassion, even when you're triggered or upset. And here's some examples of that. Maybe when you or I pause before reacting and ask, what part of me is showing up right now? Still triggered, but we can notice and pause. When we notice frustration, but choose to listen to it instead of letting it take over. When we extend kindness to a part that feels ashamed, afraid, or angry. It's leading right now, a part or myself. You might even visualize inviting self to the center of your inner family meeting. Here are a few reflection questions if you journal. And I encourage you to these gatherings, and journaling doesn't have to be a huge thing, but sometimes it's good to jot down questions to ask after or jot down parts that show up. So, may be helpful. And here's some questions that may be good to jot down if that's something that feels right for you. No test at the end. But what does being self led look like for you in daily life? Which parts of you resist letting self take the lead? How might you offer compassion toward those parts instead of pushing them away? So, those are some things to ponder about self leadership and what it means to be self led. With that, let's check in for just a bit with our parts in our inner world. And begin by finding a comfortable position. Take a few gentle breaths. Thanks for that thumbs up, by the way. Yeah. Allow your body to settle. There's nowhere to go, nothing to fix. Just noticing your inner world. As you breathe, bring awareness to the calm, curious presence within you. That's self. You might sense it as a soft light, a grounded center, or a spacious awareness. Whatever you notice is welcome. Notice any parts that are active right now. Perhaps a part that wants you to do this meditation right, or another that feels skeptical or restless. Greet each one with kindness. Let them know they don't have to change or go away. If one part feels especially strong, turn toward it with gentle curiosity. You might silently ask, how are you feeling? Or what do you need right now? Allow its answers to arise without judgment. Just listen for a bit. And as you hear this part share, check in and see how you're feeling toward it. If there's just a drop of compassion, imagine yourself, that wise, loving presence, extending compassion toward this part. There's nothing to fix, only a relationship to build. Notice what shifts when this part feels seen, heard, and witnessed. Maybe understood just a bit. Let the awareness of self expand to hold all your parts. The tired ones, the protective ones, the joyful ones. Picture them gathering around, yeah, that core, that self of who you are. Each one finding its rightful place because they belong. They bring gifts that make up that self, who you are today. Now, gently ask, what would it look like for self to lead more for the rest of the day, the afternoon, the evening? Listen for an image, word, or feeling that emerges. Trust whatever arises. Then take one more breath. Thank your parts for being here. Just acknowledge that presence of self one more time. And as you return to the present moment, remember you don't need to be perfectly self led. We can't. We're human. Just a drop of self is enough and can lead us to that critical mass. You can open your eyes if they were closed. I'll hang around for just a bit. If you have questions or comments, glad to take those. Um, you can always send me an email anytime to tim@faithfullygrowing.com. And if you're watching a recording, put your comments into, and I'm glad to engage throughout the week. But yeah, thanks so much for that other thumbs up. So grateful for this community. Tell you, I need it just as much as anyone else. And so grateful and just grateful for your trust and your courage. And yeah, thank you again, Lynn. And yeah, I'll wrap up for now, but reach out if you need to. Be well. See if we can be kind to ourselves this week. And thanks for showing up. All right. Take care.